Okay, welcome to the subconscious call for mastermind leaders. And we're continuing on the topic of the week of politics. So, as things ramp up, increase intensity with pressure, division, different opinions, how do we have leadership when being triggered? Leadership when being triggered. And we're going to be focusing on politics here. However, this is so applicable in so many facets in leadership as well as mastermind leadership. So things that can knock us off our balance, things that can trigger us. And the deeper the work that we do with people, the more it's going to press on people's buttons at certain times. And so if a person's going to make a big breakthrough with you, a big change in their life, it's going to bring up things to be cleared at a subconscious level, at an emotional level. Past pains, past traumas, past limitations, past fears. And what happens is it's like a bunch of children acting out, throwing tantrums at each other. So how do we lead through those scenarios? How do we be centered in our own energy? And that's why it's so powerful for what we're going to do today, going into the subconscious clearing and alignment. Because as we have this classic quote down here, the subconscious mind is a million times more powerful than the conscious mind, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton. So if we can get the subconscious tweaked, aligned, it makes it a lot smoother to deal with the things, the pressures trying to knock us off our base. And we're not perfect. So it's a work in progress for all of us. And as we move into new layers and new levels of responsibility and leadership, it's going to be even more powerful, even more important for us to stay centered. And there's this quote that I like to think about, which is, the greater our power grows, the finer the line between light and dark, I believe. Because as we have more power, as we have more responsibility, as we have more influence, a little goes a long way, both in a positive way as well as in a negative way. So it's even more important for us to be centered. Because, for example, if a person's get triggered and they lash out, if they're just dealing with one person every day, that only impacts so much. But if they're dealing with a big group and that happens, that of course impacts a lot. So on this theme, the problem is getting triggered under pressure in our mastermind leadership. And so that shows up in three ways. That's the way I like to think about it anyways, is A, we lean backward. Like, oh, we don't want to deal with the pressure, don't want to deal with whatever it is, feeling judged, feeling condemned, feeling like we're the issue. And if we lean backward like this, we become a doormat, And that's like the parent. Think of the parent where the child throws a tantrum. The parent's like, oh, stop it. No, no, it's okay. Here's this, here's this, here's this, there's this, right? It's like, of course, that's not, best for everybody involved. And the other option is leaning forward. So we feel that attack here. All right, let's mount up and attack back. Let's be aggressive. And of course, this can be in words alone. It doesn't have to be physically aggressive. Of course, it's cutting people down, being defensive, attacking, or just going back and forth in this, word salad back and forth of you said this, but there's nothing of substance happening. There's no leadership to the conversation. There's no guiding compass of where's our common ground and what are we going towards together? Are we just going back and forth on semantics, or are we actually going towards somewhere? And then the third one is disappear. Just hide. Just knock, knock, nobody's home. And I feel like when we're doing that, we're being a coward. And of course, I don't speak to as a perfect person on this. This is a work in progress. This is something to be mindful, I believe, as we walk the path. And to also just check ourselves of like, okay, what am I being right now? And sometimes if I'm in a situation like this, I write it down. That's what I found helpful for me. Because it's like sometimes, especially when we're triggered, the stuff can be just buzzing around. can't even think straight. So writing down, all right, if I'm leaning backward in this scenario, what does it look like? Well, I would do this, I would do this, I wouldn't do this. Okay, if I'm leaning forward, I'd do this, I'd do this, I'd say this. And then, so then what's the solution? Which is upright energy, I would say. So instead of leaning forward, instead of leaning back, instead of disappearing, upright energy, shoulders back, heart open, head forward. And so a visual of this that I'd like to share is leading with elder energy. So elder energy, upright energy, one and the same to me. And so I got a couple visuals. Now, I don't know if your inner elder has a sick neck tattoo. Maybe your inner elder does, maybe not. It's really up to you. But what I like about this picture is there's a even, calm, strong gaze. We got some sacred geometry behind, because the elder is really being the parent in the situation in a way. Because if there's, the inner child of me is getting kicked up, the inner child of the other person's getting kicked up, it's like, okay, let's go to that place that has experience, that has leadership, that has strength, yet is also calm. And we have this one here, which I like as well, because it's the heart energy. And that's what really takes it to the next level is, okay, how do we have the strong posture, the listening posture as well, too? It's not like, looking away, fully listening, fully present, fully leading, and leading with the heart energy in there. And that to me reminds me of the sacred heart energy that is burning with the love for both, as well as leading the conversation. Especially when we're triggered, you got to connect back to that love, or connect back to the spine in the situation. And so that's what we'll do in the subconscious alignment session here, is clear away the things that hold us back from this inner elder energy within, hold us back to the getting triggered, back forward, closing the heart, losing sight of what's the North Star for the conversation. Like if two people are here, back and forth, man, I'm right, you're wrong. It's like, what is the triangle at top? What is the point, the North Star, the compass that both are leading each other to? And how do we use this tension to actually be a launching pad of fuel to rise up together? So that is the topic of today: leadership while being triggered, and leading with upright energy, elder energy.